Yay!
Welcome to Twitch.
All right, I'll be back in a sec. Right. So, hello everybody. I'm streaming here on Twitch and on YouTube, and I'm gonna be working on Thumbelina, like a Thumbelina set of characters. And now I'm gonna be streaming on Instagram as well. So here I go. There we go. Hi guys. I'm gonna be streaming on Twitch and YouTube, and watch me work. Hi all. So basically, like this time, I think I set it up a little better. So I have my. So basically, like this time, I think I set it up a little better. So I have my, as you can see, I have my character here, and thank you, Christy Smith. So basically, I have my character here. It's from a Hans Christian Andersen tale, which is called Thumbelina, and I'm gonna write it here for everybody to see. And basically, I don't know if you can see really well. I hope you can. Maybe I can move this. Sorry. To the other side. Or maybe not. Hang on. Sorry, I thought I had this all worked out. But actually, I can see I don't. Wait. Okay. So maybe this way is better. I will find a way to make this work, I swear. Alright. Maybe this way is better. I think it is. Like this? Okay, I think this is pretty good. Okay, thanks Camilla. Okay, so basically Thumbelina is a character from a Hans Christian Andersen book, well, a tale, really. It's a fairy tale. And I've got here some, basically like some palette colors. I'm making a few panels of illustration for just for a book, basically. So I'm just working on the character, and then I've got the 3 panels that I have to make, and if I get around to do the character tonight, I can start doing the panels, but I'm not sure if I will be able to, but you know, I'll try. Anyway, okay, so here's our Thumbelina. This is one option with kind of like brownish hair, and this is another option with the big buns, and I was thinking of making her maybe a bit more reddish or blondish, I'm not sure. Yeah, and I wanted to kind of keep the feeling of, you know, like she's a young girl, so I wanted to keep that feeling, but also she's a, you know, she's like a pretty girl, and she's a kind of a fairy. I mean, she's as big as a thumb, so she's kind of like a magical character anyway. So yeah, so I wanted to keep this feeling of like being part of nature, you know, and stuff like that, but at the same time I wanted to you know, convey the fact that she's quite young, and I mean at the start of the tale she's really quite impressionable. I don't know if you know the whole story of Thumbelina. Yeah, this was the skin, so I'm gonna duplicate it, and this one as well. Okay, so for this one I wanted to, yeah, give her kind of like a bit more yellowish air, or maybe a bit more kind of orangey. Yeah. So yeah, so how are you guys doing? How's your day going? So I've recently reached 8K on Instagram, which was pretty amazing. Because if I think about the fact that, you know, I only joined in May, and I started making all the mermaid mermaids, and now I'm kind of, I'm already like, I mean, it's not so much a question of like, how many people follow you. That's not really the point. The point is just that I'm pretty amazed that, because of Instagram, because of the fact that I had like a reason to post so many, personal works. I actually, hi Calamaris. I actually managed to, you know, create so many characters in these months that my illustration portfolio actually got a lot bigger, and therefore I was able to land bigger commissions. So, it's pretty amazing that. I mean, during the day, I mean, I have kind of like a day job, which is basically being a concept artist and making videos, and I'm an animator and stuff. But I mean, that's also helped by Instagram to a certain extent. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing that I was able to kind of, you know, just do all this just by making a lot of drawings on Instagram, and also it's a lot of fun, to be honest. So this dress, I think I want to make it kind of blue and white, probably. So like blue on the sleeves and white on the corset, and then maybe also a bit green. So yeah, so this time, as you can see, I did this a little better, I think. So I'm streaming on Twitch and on Watch Me Work and on like YouTube and basically like everywhere. And that's thanks to quite a smart software. Well, it's kind of like an online service that is called like Restream.io. It's pretty cool, really. So here I'm gonna just use the selection tool to make this a little bit quicker. But yeah, so basically, I'm streaming on all these different services, and yeah, that's mainly because these guys at Watch Me Work, which is again this kind of online service, where you can work and stream at the same time. They asked me to do some feature streaming, which I'm doing right now. And I thought, why the hell no? It might be fun. Yeah, restream. um, I don't know. Should I make this like all? I'm not sure if I should make the whole dress blue or just maybe I can make it blue with like some like flowers on it. Again, trying to go for the vibe, like the kind of farm girl kind of vibe. And yeah, so what was I saying? Can't remember. Yeah, that I'm using these like streaming services, and I thought I might as well do it on Instagram as well. Cause, and so here I am. But as you can see, this time I'm actually, set up a lot better than last time. So you can actually see stuff. Maybe I should use some purple as well. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. Maybe just yellow is fine. Let's see. Like this. It's very daisy kind of color scheme. She looks a bit like Daisy, like this. Also a bit like maybe the things like those leaves can be of a lighter blue. Roar Dolly? No worries. Um, yeah, I mean, as you can see, like this time I'm set up a lot better, and you because I got this kind of tripod for my phone, which I can clip on the Cintiq, so you can actually see what I'm doing. Because last time I was, I was actually pointing the phone at it, but because the Cintiq has like a light on its own, and my room was quite dark, you couldn't actually see anything. I did realize that. I did realize it at the time actually, but I couldn't really do much about it. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna use this yellow to make a little like dots over here. I'm gonna paint little daisies on her dress. What do you guys think? Do we like the daisies? Also, I'm using a brush that I downloaded. It's basically a kind of it's like a ink brush pack. It's pretty cool. As you can see, the brush is like yeah. I don't know why I was putting the pen to the to the phone. It's not like you can see like the tip of the brush on Photoshop like by looking at the pen. That's really odd. I mean, like an odd transition between reality and digital. Um, but yeah, it basically it's a brush pack that mimics the feel of ink. Because for Inktober, like I'm doing most of my sketching. Well, I'm doing all of my sketching on my sketchbook and the inking, but then sometimes I do the coloring on Photoshop just because um, I'm using like markers, like letra set markers, to do the coloring, but sometimes it doesn't really give that feel, like that deep kind of feel, because I only have like two different grays. And this is because I'm a bit broke. So yeah. Thank you. Looks good. Uma RDNN19. Thank you very much for saying it looks good. Um, so yeah. Here's the little tiny daisies. Okay. So what do you think, guys? Which one do you think is looking better? The What do you think? The one on the left or the one on the right? I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think I like the one on the right better. I'm not sure. Thank you, Sophia. So okay, so I'm gonna keep going with the one on the right because I think I like her better. And so I'm gonna move on and do the eyes. And the mouth. And I think I'm gonna give her rosy lips. The one on the right. Yeah, I thought so. I'm gonna move on the right too. Also, if you hear like a noise in the background, it's just um, my washing machine, because I just got home, and as all of you guys who live alone, I have to make my own washing. And, it's not fun, especially when you have to hang the clothes up. I don't know if you can consider any kind of chore really that much fun, but I think this one is particularly unappealing for me as much as ironing. But yeah, so all things that must be done. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any clothes in the morning. And also considering my dog is like, it's quite. I mean, having a dog in general in an apartment is quite hard, especially when you have to clean. So I have to be extra clean for the dog as well. She's definitely gonna have blue eyes, isn't she? Yup, blue eyes it is. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it from the. I mean, because I mean, it's not the best kind of. I'm just using my phone as a camera, so I don't know if you can see properly, but it does have like this brush does have some sort of a like an inky sort of finish, which I really like. Okay, so how to do eyes? I lock the layer, get a much darker blue of the same color, and then put the opacity down, and then the outside. And also kind of like the direction of the pupil, as if there was a pupil. And then on top, I shall do the eyelashes. That was just too big. This one as well. Eyelashes. And also the and I also am going to do the white kind of like light blingy that you have in the eye. And normally I do it on the opposite side of the pupil. So like say here the pupil is kind of heading more on this side. So I'm going to put the white bits on this side. Like this. Okay. It's really odd because like as I was saying, like the setup is a lot better this time, so I can actually see I have my phone on the side, and I have I actually have my iPad, which I use for doing most of my sketching normally, on the side here, so I can read your comments and I can actually answer this time. So if you have any questions about art tips or I don't know, anything kind of art related, or what TV series I'm watching right now or shit like that, do ask me, because I can actually see the questions this time. And also it's really odd because I can see like my hand drawing, and it's funny. Okay, so normally the no, which one is the layer with the skin? I think I should name the layers. This makes things so much easier. Okay, so here I'm gonna delete some of the skin because otherwise you can't see the rest of the hair. Here and here. Okay, and then I'm gonna thank you for the love, it's very appreciated. I'm gonna take the hair bit and I'm gonna make it a bit darker to make the color of the eyebrows. So, yeah, these ones are the eyebrows. So I try and break up the eyebrows a little bit to give it more of a surprise look, or kind of like more of a organic look, if you know what I mean. And then the rest of the eyebrow. Alright. So here we are. Almost kind of done. As in, I did the basic color. So now I'm gonna turn off. Yeah, here we are. I know, it looks really odd now that I've turned off the line art. But I need to turn it off so that I can do the rest of the colors properly. So this one was the this one is the dress on the right. This one is the skin. This one is the thing, and this one is the one on the right. Okay. So I'm gonna layer with this one, which is the one on the left. And now I'm gonna put together these two, mark the layers, so that I can just basically do the final touches basically. And this one is the flat color layer. So yeah, guys, like, where are you from? The people who are watching right now, and are you enjoying Inktober? Are you enjoying my prompts or other people prompts? Basically, how's it going? Also, I'm really hungry because I haven't eaten yet, and I had like kind of like brunch around 11:30, and then I didn't eat for lunch like anything, because obviously I was full from brunch, and then yeah. So basically, right now, pretty hungry, but it's okay. I'm gonna do this for a couple of hours and then like prep myself some dinner. And yesterday I was feeling pretty sick, because it was my birthday on Monday, and I don't know. I mean, I didn't do anything special really. I just went to a Japanese restaurant, but I guess maybe I don't know. I ate too much, or how many brushes do you normally use when in just one drawing? I normally use just two, really. So like I have this one, which I'm gonna make it bigger so that you can see the kind of shape is like this, which is just basically a weird kind of shape so that it gives this kind of inky feeling. And then I'll probably use another one like I mean, maybe like a bit more of a pattern one for hair and stuff like that. Like for the hair, I normally use like this sort of brush. This one, as you can see, it's got like a. I'm gonna make it bigger. It's got kind of like a nice feeling, like a. It's kind of like the feeling of like a proper brush, you know. So I use it for the hair to give it a bit more texture and stuff like that. But yeah, I normally use like two, and I've been using this inky one just because I downloaded it. I downloaded the pack for Inktober, but otherwise I normally use just the normal brush, like the very very normal brush. I'm not particularly inventive in these matters, but actually, like most people just use those two anyway. Like I've followed um, some workshops with like some really amazing illustrators and artists, and they all say that they just basically use like two or three. So yeah, don't worry about like brushes and stuff like that's very. It basically doesn't really matter like that sort of thing. It's more about what you're drawing, and if the if the subject is good, you don't really need like that much stuff to do it. You don't need like a fancy computer, or you don't need like a fancy um, tablet or whatever. I mean, of course they help, but if you have a good idea, it's a good idea. You don't need like fancy stuff to make it work. Even if you just draw it on paper, it's gonna look good. And especially if the posing is good and the anatomy is good. Like I really care about anatomy. I don't like when I don't like illustration that doesn't respect anatomy really. I think it's a bit lazy, to be honest. And also posing, like realistic posing that where you can see where the weight goes from one foot to the other, or from one one part of the body to the other. Like those things are so important, I think. And a lot of people think that just as long as you have like a pretty girl there with a lot of flowing hair and some fancy lights, then everything is going to be forgotten. And sometimes it's true. I mean, those things do help, but it's kind of a bit like cheating. I feel like, but I don't want to just criticize other people's style. So, so yeah. I hope you guys can see properly this time. As last time was a bit all over the place, I know. And yeah, as I was saying, like if you have any questions, please do ask, because I can actually read them this time, and I'm here to answer them. And thanks for the love. Okay, so here we're kind of good. So yeah, when I talk about like posing and stuff, I mean basically the pose that the character is in and where the weight is going. So like in this case, for example, I'm gonna zoom out. Who's that supposed to be? It's a character that I made up based on Thumbelina, the the fairy tale by Andersen. So it's my own character really, and as you can see, I was working on two different characters, like two different options really. On the right, I had like a brown hair, long hair version, and on the left, like a orangey hair. Thank you. Yeah, orange hair version, and yeah, shit. Sorry. Right. So yeah, I just want to say, as you can see, like this character is basically, she's standing, so that's not, it's not so weird. But at the same time, I wanted to give her like a sort of feeling of being surprised. So that's why she's kind of, standing in that position, and you can see the weight is on the left side of the body. And I feel like, this is the sort of thing that gives character a bit more character, literally. That's what I mean when I say, it's important, like posing is so important, um, because of, the fact that it gives the character, basically. Anyway, are you guys enjoying Inktober then? I mean, I feel a bit overwhelmed, to be honest. I mean, there's so many people posting um, artworks like all the time, so of course it's a bit overwhelming, really. But it's cool. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna make her hair a bit more shapeful, as in with a bit of a much clearer shape. Oops, that's not the right color. Okay. So did you guys know about Thumbelina? What was the story of the fairy tale? Basically, so Thumbelina is a story where there's an elderly lady and she really wants to have children, but she can't. So she goes to a fairy that gives her like a seed. And the seed, she tells her, like, if you put this seed in water and you plant it or whatever, you're gonna be able to, like, you just wait and out of the seed will come a pretty little girl and you can have a daughter. So that's the main kind of gist of the story. And then, yeah, basically after that, she plants the seed, and then, oops, shit, sorry. She plants the seed, and she goes and, I don't know, does her own thing for a bit, I assume. And then after the seed comes the prettiest little girl that you could ever imagine, and she's called Thumbelina because she's as big as a thumb. And yeah, so that's the story. I'm doing a few panels to illustrate some of the main bits of the story, basically. And I'm gonna, yeah, there was a movie. It was done by DreamWorks, I believe. And yeah, when I was younger, I watched it and I really loved it, especially because it wasn't. I mean, I do love Disney movies. Like, I mean, look at how I draw. But I love the fact that it wasn't Disney, that it was just something else. Sometimes even other people that are not, Disney. Yeah, there is a movie. But I'm doing like a different kind of take on it. So the Thumbelina in the movie had a really long hair, put in like a like she had a really long hair put in a ponytail, and instead my Thumbelina has big piggy bands, so different one. And also, yeah, I put the layer with the liner back on because I want to, okay, because I'll make the actual liners now. That was just a sketch. So here we go. I normally do it in black and then overlay it. So yeah, and also because I was trying to go for kind of like, I mean, of course it's not going to be realistic because it's bloody fairy tale, but I was trying to go for kind of like a more realistic take in terms of the age and time where Hans Christensen wrote the thing. So he basically wrote it. I mean, he was born, like, he was active in the 1800s, so like 1850 something, I think. So I looked up some Danish like traditional clothing for that time, which I'm sure is not exactly like this, but they did used to have some sort of like mid parting with these really big kind of piggy buns on the side. So that's why I'm doing the piggy buns. And also, my agent liked them when I showed them to her. Oops. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Choop, 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 choop. So let's put the thingy off. Okay. Here we go. So she's a lot prettier already. Zoop, zoop. So do you like the piggy bands? I do love piggy bands. I mean, I don't care that they make me look like I'm much younger than I actually am, because I just like them. All right. Oops. I think she looks quite pretty. This one was in the face, which is here. So yeah, normally when I work, I watch some TV series on the background, which I don't really watch. I just kind of, it's kind of there, and it's it's kind of like listening to the radio, to be honest. Um, but of course, whilst I'm streaming, I can't do that. First, because it would be kind of boring, I think, for you guys, and second, because I will probably get blocked in terms of the streaming on YouTube, because I'm be playing some music from um, like sources that I wouldn't be able to play basically out loud. Um, that's the way of things. So hence me not playing anything. Okay, so normally, like, to do hair properly, I then add some strokes, like 12 maybe, some like darker strands of hair, like this. Like this. There we go. And then I'm gonna do the, I mean, the clothing is kind of done really. So I'm gonna keep going with the line art. I need to put that on to do the line art. Here I am, here that is, and that. the sketch, and here's the line art. I mean, doing hands is the most, honestly, like the most difficult thing I can find. I just, you know, it's one of those things like, it's okay to do hair, you know, for me, it's not a problem to do, you know, difficult poses. I mean, of course they're difficult, but, you know, I feel like, I feel pretty confident about them. But, you know, hands, God, hate them. What's the most difficult thing for you to do, guys? You guys of you who draw. Hmm. So yeah, you see like stupid hands. Stupid. Okay, I'm reasonably satisfied with them. Alright. Yep, so here we go. Almost done. We're gonna do a couple of more daisies here and there. Maybe a bigger, not this. Okay. So here's our Thumbelina. I'm gonna go with the line art again, just do the feet. Stupid feet. So yeah, I don't know if you can hear, but there's like the sound of my washing machine in the background. I'm gonna do some of the clothes as well. Okay. So. Feet, I need to. Yeah, hands and feet are so hard. Other feet, you know, a bit less hard to be honest. I mean, as you can see, I mean, they're not like my masterpiece, but definitely better than the hands. And so today I was doing commissions mostly, and then I might have gotten a new job, which is a new project to make a music video. So that would be pretty cool. But I shall see if I actually got it or not. The client hasn't gone back to me yet. Okay, so here's the flat color version with the line art, which thank you. So I'm gonna put this clipping mask, so generic shade. I'm gonna use a generic kind of like you know, this kind of violet to make the shade, and I'm going to multiply the layer, which already gives it more depth, I believe. Like this. Okay, and then this one obviously goes a lot less pronounced than this. There we go. And then I'm gonna make another layer, create a clipping mask, and do the same thing with a generic light, which I'm gonna call G light. And there we go. So the light, I think I want it in the face mostly, and also on this leg, like this, and also this arm, this bun. Okay. So now I'm gonna use soft light as a blending method, and also put the opacity down to 25. There we go. Okay. So here we have already some more depth in the drawing. Then I'm gonna create a specific light, which is the flat, well, shade rather, just the flat shade that is going to give more depth to the picture. And here I go. I'm gonna need to find the brush. Okay, here it is. So I'm gonna zoom in, and I'm gonna use this to again multiply to make the flat shade. Like this. So this flat shade basically is useful so that it gives more depth to the illustration. It makes it look more 3D basically, even though it's not 3D. So I put it on every shade that is cast on the picture basically. So because of the fact that the body is put in a certain way in comparison with the light, so for certain things needs to be in the shade. Like for example the hair here needs to be in the shade because there's the face in front of it in the way of the light. Also, I was thinking of doing on Instagram, I was thinking of doing a sort of kind of like give back Fridays. I read about, like, I saw this kind of initiative on the Instagram account of an artist that I follow. It's called Dave XP, and I really liked it as a concept. So basically, it's called Give Back Fridays because you just give back a little bit of love that you get from your followers. So because I reached like 8K recently, but I wanted to make a big giveaway when I reach 10K. but you know, it's still going to be a while, and it feels like a million years since I did my last giveaway. But I can't really make a big one because I'm really busy with work. So I was thinking of maybe doing like a small giveaway, like basically doing a just like doing kind of like a feature where I you guys can comment under the oh shit, Photoshop is crashing. So you guys can comment under the post that I'm gonna post on Friday, and then I'm gonna choose a random winner on Sunday to do the like a free digital portrait of, and I can't really do more than one, so I'm sorry about that. But then I will probably do the same thing the Friday afterwards, so you know, it's kind of like a win-win situation. Okay, so here we almost are done with our normal like flat shade. There we go. Flat shade. Okay, so the inside of the leg, of course, has a shade because the rest of the leg is in front of it. And also this side. And the outside of this leg. Like this. And maybe also this part of the dress because there's the arm in front of it. So, yeah. Okay. And then I'm gonna put it down to 25%. So here we have the actual shading, and now we're gonna do the same thing for the light, specific light. And there we go. So the light, I'm gonna put the blending setting on screen or color dodge. And it's gonna give this kind of, well, this effect of light, obviously. There we go. I love color dodge. It's one of my favorite blending methods on Photoshop. I'm gonna put a bit of bounce on this side as well. Thank you, Julieta, for saying that this is cool. So I'm gonna put a bit of light on the dress as well. And on this hand, because of course this hand is in full light. And here, and here. And maybe I need to make it a bit bigger here. And here we go. Okay. And also I'm gonna put it on the eyes as well, because this way it gives a nice feeling. Ah. Hi, Matt. A Dotty Hill, that is, or Evolution. So today's sketch is Thumbelina. She's a character from a fairy tale by Andersen, I believe. And basically, I'm making a few illustrations for like a set of panels, and so here it is. Well, here she is, and she's basically done. So I'm gonna put this on top, and then I'm gonna create a clipping mask, because I just love to give this kind of final layer on top of everything, like this, and give it a multiply and 25%. So here we go, and it really kind of, I don't know, I just love the effect that it gives it. I mean, it makes it very dreamy, I think. So yeah, so she's done, she's finished. I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna export it. Hi, it's Moody Gomez. I'm gonna export it in a character called JPEG. I'm gonna export it so that I can close this one, open, this one was the original different characters that I had. So these were the different options that I had at the start. I had like a Thumbelina with long ponytail, which looked too similar to the movie. I had Thumbelina with long flowy hair, which looked a bit plain. Thumbelina with piggy buns, which was the one that I went for, and Thumbelina with a big braid, which in my opinion looked too much like Rapunzel. Hence, I just decided to go with Thumbelina with the piggy buns. So here we go. I'll save it and I'll close it. Now I'm gonna open up sketch panel 2, which is one of the sketches that I've been working on for this set of illustrations, and I'm gonna work on it using, so here's the sketch, shade, so this one, not layers, this one is the grayscale. So yeah, basically what I'm doing here is I normally produce some kind of like grayscale slash black and white Hey guys, so yeah, I'm back, and here we go. Okay, So basically, yeah, my previous video ran out of time. So here I am again, and I have been. Thanks for the love. Okay, so here's the sketch, as I was saying, the panel, and I need to get the charger from my phone because my phone is running out of battery. But yeah, basically, this is a rough sketch, like a rough panel high. This is a rough panel for the Thumbelina sets of illustrations that I'm making. And yeah, so based on the Thumbelina colors that I did in the past video, I have a color version of that, which I'm gonna use as reference to start working on this panel. So I'm gonna do Thumbelina first, and I'm gonna color her just with flat colors. Thank you for the love. And then I'm gonna make so I'm gonna put, sorry, open recent character. So no, not this one. Didn't mean to open this one. Sorry, guys. Hello, hello all. Thanks for joining. So flat colors or actually I have all of the colors I need here. Okay, so that was the color version. Hi, Ulen, whatever, I can't pronounce that. But anyway, so I'm gonna use most of these colors that I've got here, luckily, and yeah, I'm gonna start doing the flat coloring for this. So here I go. And I plan to make this illustration very kind of interesting in terms of lighting. That's the main part of the illustration, I feel. And of course, to start with, it's just gonna, hello, soft parrot. Yeah, so to start with, it's just gonna be flat colors. Then I'm gonna do the flat colors of the background, and then I'm gonna do lighting and details and shading. It's gonna take a while, really. So yeah, I have 3 panels of this story that I'm working on, and I'm working on them because they're gonna go in my illustration portfolio for books and fairy tales and stuff like that. And to me, it's really quite a challenge because I never really normally do full image illustrations. Like I normally just do like characters. So yeah, it's kind of different for me. It's like a bit of a different thing, and yeah, it's a challenge. Cool, thank you, Ridoli. But it's a challenge I'm willing to take, and I'm actually pretty excited to take. So as you can see, like I'm using this brush that is kind of very brushy, you know what I mean? Like it's very kind of organic as a brush. It doesn't have a clean finish. And I quite like brushes like this because they make me they give me more of a authentic kind of feather feel to the illustration, I think. So that's why I use them in most of my illustration. I mean, it might look very clean cut when I upload stuff on. Thank you. When I upload stuff on Instagram, my illustration might look very clean, but actually it's not. Like it's always got this kind of finish, but because Instagram is crap in terms of, I mean, not in terms of Instagram is crap, but you know, like Instagram is kind of crap in terms of the resolution that it offers. So that's why, like, you can probably see any of the details in my illustration, which is a shame, but then, you know, it's not really thought for that reason, so it makes sense that that's the case. Okay. Maybe I need to put this a bit big and a bit smaller, like 15 should do it. Hi guys. I hope that you're having a good time this fine evening. I sure am. I'm not even hungry anymore. So yeah, to do the flat colors, I actually have to cover my sketch, but then I'm gonna put it back on top when I have to do the details. First, I normally do the face and the clothes, and then I do the facial features, and then I do the line art, which then I multiply or overlay, so that yeah, so that you can see some of the lines but not all of them, because I don't really like drawings that have too much of a line art. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to the feet. This foot is, God, feet are so hard to do. I hope this goes, like, comes out okay. I hope it's not like a horrible, like, half-born fetus feet. So how are you guys? How are you doing tonight? I see a few people have connected. I mean, it happens to me as well. Sometimes I just like log on some people's videos, and then just because Instagram gives me like a notification, like this person is, you know, is having a live video right now, and then I actually like accidentally click on it. So sometimes, and then I feel bad though, because I feel like I've entered someone's stream and I should stay for at least, like, you know, 5 minutes, but then sometimes it's just like a really inconvenient time, like I'm at work, for instance, and I shouldn't be going on Instagram in the first place. So of course I have to come out like as quick as possible. Do you guys do that? Do you go on Instagram a lot, like when you're at work? Because I do, and I think a lot of people do, to be honest. But to me, I guess, I mean, work is kind of like being on Instagram as well, so I guess I'm kind of justified a little bit. Yeah, so I do kind of hate feet. You're getting your puppy's nails trimmed. That's pretty cool. Are you getting it done like by a professional? I gave up trying to, because I have a dog, I don't know if you guys know. I do post quite a lot of pictures of him, so you probably do know. And yeah, like I never really get his nails properly trimmed, because well, first because he wouldn't allow it, like he just kind of like moves around so much, and second because he has like black fur, so he wouldn't really be able to get him like properly you wouldn't be able to get it properly, kind of like you can't really see basically what where does his nail end. He's getting a little sister and making her trying to play. Yeah, yeah, that's normally a bad thing, you know. Like, don't get your puppies killed, you know. Don't have them like kill each other. That's normally like quite a good, yeah, that's normally quite good advice. So yeah, as you can hear, that was my dog barking because someone landed on the floor with a stop it. But yeah, so the reason why I don't get my dog's nails cut is because he has black fur and black nails, so you can't really see where like his nails end and where his blood starts, like where his blood vessels start. So um, even the vet has advised me not to cut it because I might accidentally basically hurt him. So yeah, hence. So I'm gonna do the outline of this, and then I'm probably gonna use the lasso tool to make a selection. That's an amazing Cintiq. Thank you, Esteban. Well, it wasn't mine, as in I can't afford the Cintiq. So I just thought, no, I was kidding. Of course I didn't steal it. No, I just borrowed it. My boyfriend doesn't need it because he works in a studio all day, and when he comes home, it doesn't really work. So yeah, that's why I was able to have a Cintiq even though I can't afford one. Pretty lucky, you know. Don't worry, I'm gonna cover like the skin there with another layer on top. Or I might just like delete the extra skin. No, no. So yeah, how are you guys tonight and what are you up to? I mean, is it even night everywhere where you're from? Right here in Turin, Italy, is 9:15 on a Wednesday evening, and clearly I don't have anything better to do than to draw. But that's true for most of my life, so I do spend quite a lot of time drawing. And I love it, so, I'm not complaining. I was thinking about it like the other day, when I watched this, I don't know if you know her, like she's really kind of popular illustrator here on Instagram. She's called, her handle is called IMZ Ferino. I think she's Brazilian. And she's, yeah, as I was saying, like she's a pretty amazing illustrator. And she posted like this, she posted this kind of inspirational quote on her, or like kind of art tip, I guess, on her Instagram stories, which said, always remember, it's not like, it's the journey that counts, or something like that. And, or, yeah, it was something like that, about the journey of, when you have a big project and sometimes you get so hung up on the tiny details that you kind of, you forget that really, yeah, it's important to, to achieve, or, it's important to keep tabs or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's also really important to have fun, because otherwise none of your projects will succeed. I genuinely believe that. Like, I don't think a project will succeed if you don't have fun once you do it. Because if you forget about the fun, you start making decisions based on the wrong things, basically. Like, you start making decisions based on callous reasons, like, why should I do this thing? Oh, I should do it because, for example, on Instagram, like, it gains me more followers, or, bullshit reasons like that. And, that's not a good way to make a decision. And also, I think eventually it will actually alienate. But basically, people will not like you very much for them. So in the end, they will actually go against you. I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay. So, oh yeah, I need to delete the extra leg. Go away, extra leg. Yeah. And also, I'm gonna make this thing. I'm gonna make it a bit darker to do the inside of the dress. No, that was the wrong layer. Here. Here we go. So how's it going for you guys this fine day? I had a pretty good day, to be honest. Kind of hung around a little bit. Made myself some lunch this morning, or brunch really, and then I did some commissions, and then I went to talk to some people regarding a video I might be doing. It's a music video, so that's pretty cool, I believe. Okay, so here's the sketch, and I need to do the hair of this little Thumbelina. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's the one. So, also I'm getting kind of uncomfortable because I'm bouncing on my bouncy ball, which is also my my seat basically. But sometimes if I don't kind of just stretch a little bit from now and then and get really stiff. Do you guys have a quite a sedentary job normally, or do you guys mostly work or study? And yeah, I mean, I can actually read, the comments that you post. So if you want me to answer some questions, please do, because I can answer them. That is. Okay. So, yeah, hair. I was gonna do the hair. Right. I'm gonna put it on top of the sketch. There we go with the hair. Sorry about yawning. I am pretty tired. I've been kind of sick, like a little bit sick these past few days. So, I think it's just, the weather because it's getting a bit colder. But that also means that I am, I still need to work like most days, like every day really, even on the weekend. So, because like how do you start to work as an illustrator? That's a good question. Well, I'm doing it right now, so I guess, I mean, it's not like I can say for sure, this is certainly gonna, get you started as an illustrator or whatever. But I just drew a lot for a long time, and I was kind of crap at it. So for a long time, I couldn't work as an illustrator because I wasn't good enough. And now I just got to the point where I'm just about good enough, I guess, to do it as a job. I still think there's still amazing illustrators out there that are much better than me, I guess, at drawing. Um, but then also, like art is such a subjective thing that sometimes what one person might like is not necessarily what everybody would like. So sometimes you can be an illustrator and have a very specific style. So even though maybe you're not classically trained, like maybe you don't have like a specific like classical training, as in you didn't go to any fine art school or whatever, but you still have a very specific style, so you still find jobs. You still find work because your style is so nice and people really like your style. Like people really, really enjoy your particular style that you can still find work. And sometimes instead you just have a very good illustrative hand, as in like you spent a lot of time training and you um, you know a lot about perspective and color and composition, all the main um, all the main notions of good illustration and good painting. So you're just very good and people hire you to make books or cards or toys, whatever. Personally, I think, well, there's a place and time for both these things, really. Like, I think I'm kind of like a little bit in the middle, as in, I have a specific style in a way, but not even that specific, really. I mean, it's just kind of a bit Disney and a bit kind of flat, really. Um, but then I think also my way of drawing, it's pleasant and people kind of like it. So yeah, I became an illustrator, I guess, which is pretty amazing. I mean, I do still marvel at the fact that I can earn some money like just drawing, because it was always my favorite thing in the world to do. And so many people have told me that I needed like a more sensible option, and I do have it. I mean, I teach English as another thing that I do, but I'm kind of diminishing it. Like I'm doing it less and less because I am able to support myself just with drawings. Um, but yeah, in general, like I feel like when people tell you like you can't do that, it's not true. It might be more difficult. That's the thing. Like if you want to make it like a profession, then it's hard. It's like it's not an easy thing to want, and it's not an easy thing to get, because a lot of people will be out there to tell you that you can't do it, and that and also you will look around on social media and um, on social media channels, or on the internet, or even just looking at artists that you like, and you go, well, there's so much more, there's so much better than me, they're so amazing that I'm never going to be able to be as good as them. And that thought is always in your head, really. So it's really hard to, I think the hardest thing is just to kind of keep focused and keep working. And sometimes you get, disappointed and disheartened, but it's really important to just keep going and be like, I want to do this and I can do this and I will do this. But it's not simple to say that to yourself. You need to have a lot of resilience, I think. Okay, so this is the hair. So on top, I'm gonna do the eyes, which I believe were blue, but I can't remember the blue that I used. So I'm gonna go and see for myself here. Yeah, so this is the sketch that I was working on earlier on, where I did the colors for this illustration, and I decided, what colors was Thumbelina gonna have. Like this. And then on top, I'm gonna do the eyelashes. Oh, no worries at all. I kind of feel like, as a kid growing up, feel like I wish I could have had more guidance about these sort of things. Like, my parents, of course, didn't really want me to do this as a job because it doesn't have really many chances of actually working. So they do convince me to go to that's weird. They convinced me to go to um, like a normal school, just not an art school, basically. Which was good actually. I mean, I don't regret the choice really, because it allowed me to have a really good education. So I don't regret it at all. But it did give me as a backlash, kind of. It gave me um, a lot of like anxiety, not anxiety, a lot of in well, I didn't feel very confident, basically. Um, yeah, I feel like I felt really like non-confident, unconfident regarding my abilities as an artist, because I felt like I didn't go um, to an actual um, school um, ever until I got to university, and so I felt like a lot of people a lot of people who go to schools and learn about theory of color or composition or stuff like that. I felt they must know a lot more than I do about all these things, and they're definitely better at posing or deciding how to start an illustration, how to set it up, about sketching, about workflow really. I think the workflow is the hardest thing to pick up really. And so yeah, I felt like they must know so much more about these things than I do. So I'll never be able to catch up. I'll never be able to be as good as they are because I didn't go to this school or that school. But then I realized that that was just kind of like an excuse that I was using to feel sorry about myself. You know, um, because yeah, okay, so some people go to art schools and some people don't. But then those people who went to art schools definitely have other things that they're not as good as at, if that makes sense. Like for example, I don't know, like I went to a, a humanities kind of high school, so I learned about philosophy and history, loads of other things like that, and that actually helped me a lot with my general knowledge in general. It is general, isn't it? So because of that, maybe my illustration is different because I don't just do it. I don't just do an illustration because of because I want to paint, like a pretty picture. Most of the times, I actually think of the story, and I want to convey something in terms of the narrative of it, and in terms of the in terms of maybe even like the philosophical aspect of it. So that's what I mean. That it's not necessarily true that everyone that goes to an art school then becomes an artist, and it's not true that you need to go to an art school to become an artist. A lot of people do it just by being self-taught and being really stubborn about it. Or just drawing a lot in your own time. In the end, like nowadays, thank you for the shiny shoes. Nowadays, anybody can really download Photoshop and start drawing and trying to just get better. Or anybody can buy pen and paper. And one of my favorite artists on Instagram is a woman called Amanda McFarlane. Her handle is The Animated Life, and basically she's one of my favorite artists because she's totally self-taught. She has 3 kids, and she still finds the time to make amazing illustration all the times. Like she posts like 3 times a day even, and yeah. So like if she finds the time with 3 young children, I think anybody can. And also she's always so upbeat and like she seems like a really nice person, really. Alright. So I am almost done with the flat colors of Thumbelina. So next I am gonna do the flat colors for the background. Yeah. So I have like an overlay. So this is the character. I'm gonna do like a I'm gonna do a group layer. Hi, sweet Alina Malina. Hello. So I'm gonna call it character. And then I'm gonna do on top, I'm gonna do an overlay of the leaves that you see. And in terms of perspective, the stuff that goes on top of, like in the foreground, needs to be darker than the stuff that go in the background. And that's what basically Leonardo da Vinci invented in the Renaissance, and it's worked until now. So let's keep using it. So yeah, the overlay, I mean, I'm just gonna use some random like green for now, and then I'll develop like a palette later probably, if I don't like it. Well, normally I like the colors that I use, like the first choice, but maybe that's just because I'm lazy. But yeah, so basically I have like this grayscale sketch underneath. Oh, thank you! Thank you for the compliment that it's an amazing drawing. Yeah, so I'm just gonna use pretty big brushes to do the main shapes and the flat colors, and then I'm gonna do the detailing, and then I'm gonna do the lighting for this illustration. So in terms of lighting, as you can see, I feel like I want to have some main light, like really strong main light coming in on Thumbelina, and instead the foreground of the illustration can be quite dark, so that we have like some really nice kind of change of light and maybe like I want to have some dust, kind of like in the sun ray, which I think would be really good. You know, to give it like this feel of like being really authentic kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Alright, I'm gonna do this one. Also, the colors that you see on the Cintiq are not actually the ones that will that you'll see in the final painting, really, because this Cintiq, I mean, it's kind of old, and the color manager, it's really crap. So I keep my navigator open on my Mac, which is just beside me, so that I can actually see what the colors are gonna look like when I post it, or you know, when I export it as a JPEG. Okay, here. Maybe those things are brown, actually. I think they are. Thank you, my dragon 32. I hope so. I think it's gonna look okay when I'm done. Yeah, I hope so, at least. Okay. So yeah, so I think I got the the color of the things here wrong. It's actually brown, I think. There we go. And then yeah, the one in the back. Okay. And then I'm gonna do like another overlay, but just behind it. With some slightly different colors. Like this. I mean, at the moment it's looking pretty rough, but I just want to decide, you know, what's the, you know, what's kind of like the composition and how things are gonna look like when they're all painted in, and then I'm gonna worry about details later. Like this. Okay. And then I'm gonna do the stuff that is behind the character, which I'm gonna call background. So I have the river, which is, I mean, what color are rivers in? I'm just checking like what color rivers are when they're kind of like because I generally don't know what's the color of the river. It's kind of like dark plumose gray. So here and a bit more. Okay, kind of like this, I guess. So yeah, here I go. Here's the river. There. That was definitely the brown color. Okay. of the river. There's some more. There's some more trees and leaves, but this time they're a lot lighter and less saturated. So I'm just going to do this with the selection tool. Oh shit, sorry. Alright. Oh, play out. That's it. Okay. So here we have the river and those leaves, which I'm gonna do a bit darker here. Like this. And this. And then also I'm gonna put some on top here, like for example my good lily pad, which is where Thumbelina, like basically Thumbelina at this point in the story, she's trying to escape the evil toad, which is trying to marry her, and she escapes using a lily pad to paddle away, and yeah. And then I'm going to use something a bit more saturated to do the some leaves here and here, and also I'm going to use this pink to make some of the flowers, the lily flowers. Alright. On top of this, there's also a lighter, more saturated blue. Maybe I have to do this way. And even more light and more saturated. Like this. Actually, I want to make this a bit more prominent here. So here I go. Like this. Alright. So I think it's starting to look okay. And you can see the flat colors. Yeah, I think it's starting to look alright. Okay, so I think I'm gonna call it a night, and thank you guys so much for drawing with me, and I'm gonna call it a night here, and I'm gonna post a little post later on to thank you all, guys, and well, thanks a lot for hanging out. Bye, guys. And also for my Twitch, and thanks for watching, and bye bye.